Hi Fantasy Managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video I'm going to go through my wildcard team for game week 9. I have pulled the trigger, did so last weekend. If you haven't watched this channel before, you won't have seen my previous wildcard draft. This is going to be an updated one. I'm going to go through the reasons why I've got the players I have. I've done it slightly differently this time. I've gone through my must-have players, as always I do when I'm going to put a wildcard together, and then I'm going to try and fit the other pieces of the jigsaw around it. So if you enjoy these sorts of videos, don't forget to hit the like, make sure you subscribe. In the meantime, let's have a look. Apologies for the voice, the temperature's dropped by half a degree and I've already picked up a cold, so I hope you can understand me okay. So one of the reasons why we're wildcarding, or I'm wildcarding in Game Week 9, is just there's a definite fixture swing going on. For a number of teams that we'll look at in a minute whose fixtures just get a little bit tougher, and I want to jump off a few players and come on to better ones. There's also the international break. That gives me 2 weeks to mull over my wildcard, react to any injuries, players coming back from international duty that have picked up knocks, listen to a press conference, adjust my team according to that. Is there a better time? We've also got to play this wildcard before game week 16. Maybe game week 11-12 is an opportunity. Team dependent. For me, I think I can jump on to some good players now with better fixtures. There's enough players that I want to change in order to justify the wildcard. Now, I think if I didn't have another wildcard until the end of the season, I think it would be a different matter. I'd be trying to muddle through. But right now, I think I can justify the wildcard because I have it. I've got to use it in the next 7 weeks or I lose it. Fixture swings, then we know Arsenal do get a bit harder. Tottenham at home, Liverpool at home, Leeds away, maybe not a bad fixture to target, but then Man City at home. Then we've got Liverpool with the Brighton, Arsenal, Man City, and even the West Ham game at home not looking good either. That game against Man City then for Arsenal has been called off. So we're actually blanking in game week 12, so that's another reason maybe to jump off a few Arsenal players rather than having to juggle, because Man City will also blank. So if you've got Arsenal and Man City players, that does cause you a few issues. Some of the teams that we can definitely jump on board with then that have good games. I'm not saying that all these teams are going to be stacking up because of their own form. West Ham look like good fixtures. Wolves, Fulham, Southampton looks like a lovely run of fixtures. Villa, bit up and down, not sure how much we can trust them, but Leeds away, Forest away looks good as well. Newcastle, they've been pretty impressive so far. Fulham, Brentford, Man U away, then Everton, Leeds, a nice run of fixtures. So if you consider my own side at the moment, this is where I am. I think of players that I definitely want to lose. I want to get rid of Henderson. I've dead-ended him. That didn't really work out for me. I've got Perisic. I want to get rid of Martinelli, Salah, Jesus, because their fixtures and blanking in 12 will cause me a problem later on. So there's enough players in this side that I want to get rid of and alter, and I think I can improve it before game week 16, which is when we'll have to use a wildcard buy anyway. So, given that, let's have a look at the team that I put together. In goal then, I've gone for Ollie Pope. He's not playing cricket. We're going for Nick Pope, 5.2 million. His defensive record has been brilliant this season, it has to be said, but I'm going to back the fixtures. He's good for save points as well. If we end up dovetailing him with Ward, who isn't someone that I would rely on any sort of clean sheet, Leicester at the moment, I don't think they've kept one all season. They are hemorrhaging goals. But as a cheap enabler goalkeeper at 4 million, I still like to have that option. And actually, as you see, they can dovetail quite nicely. When Newcastle's fixture against Man U gets tough and away at Tottenham, Leicester have got Palace at home, Wolves away. Now, a lot can change. I'm not suggesting at the moment there's anything to suggest that Leicester suddenly become this really lean, defensively type machine. But I don't want to spend more money on 2 playing keepers at this moment in time. I'm happy to go for Pope and Ward. In all honesty, if things didn't change, I think I'll still play Pope away at Man U as opposed to Ward over Palace. And then the only other time that they don't dovetail particularly well is the last game before the World Cup, Chelsea and West Ham away, 2 difficult games. I'm not sure who I'll go for in that. So I'm just going to pick out the players that I'm absolutely saying that I must have, non-negotiable players. Then I'm going to tinker around at the end. Trippier is one that I think definitely, which means I'm doubling up on that Newcastle defence. Don't mind, I think he's got good attacking potential, 0.2, picking up assists, on set pieces, nailed. I'm quite happy to go for Trippier, especially with those fixtures. His XGI looks pretty decent for his price. Twice that of Cancelo. Might not feel like that, but that's what the stats are telling us. Not up with Trent or Darlow, but again, you're not paying maybe the same as Trent. So 5.3 with those fixtures, I'm pretty happy to go with Trippier. Alongside him, just purely for the price, I think. And his XGI is really good, but I don't trust Forest for those clean sheets. But 4.1 and an XGI of 0.3, that's more than the Darlow, more than Trent. He's right up there with the best of them. If you could just pair that with a clean sheet, that'd be great. But 4.1 enables me to put money elsewhere in my squad. And happy to leave him on the bench if I need to. Alongside him then, Reece James just has to be in it. He's just so attacking. If they could just put some clean sheets together as well. But 0.41 goal involvement. Okay, the best there is basically. 6 million, I think he's a bargain. Had him in mind from the start. Hopefully, Potter's now playing him at right wing back, and we'll see him in that system where he's most effective. But Reece James, yeah, he's absolutely in the side for me. No other player is pushing him out. Moving into midfield then, the must-haves for me, non-negotiables. Zaha, 0.63, on pens, nailed, looks really good. He's got a great run of fixtures, plus decent start of the season considering the tough fixtures. 7.2, not an easy price point to get, but picking a bunch out of that range. I really want Zaha. He's coming in. I'm not moving him out of my side for anything. Another one that's definitely there is KDB. He's top of the XGI charts, getting assists. I wish he'd get more goals. Can't have everything, I suppose. He's got some tough fixtures, but I'm prepared to back Man City. They do blank in 12, so we've got to make contingency plans for that. KDB, top of the chart. Happy to have him in the side. Happy to pay that premium price now that Salah's come out the side. Andreas, again, another enabler. Just don't think there's anyone better at his price point. So he's definitely coming in for 4.6. Just enables me to get so much more elsewhere on the side. His fixtures look pretty decent. Nailed. Yeah, he comes in. Just feels like a no-brainer. And Maddison is another one. Leicester not been great. Maddison's XGI isn't phenomenal. It's not that impressive, but I think their fixtures haven't been that kind. Forest at home, Bournemouth, Palace, Leeds, Wolves. I don't think it gets much better than that. Maddison nailed, set pieces. Yeah, I'm prepared to back him at 7.9. I do think he's a must-have on non-negotiable for me. He's coming in, and he has been producing the goods so far as well. Up front then, only one player's absolutely nailed him for me up front. And that's hard. I'm not even going to go reasons why. So these are the players I'm just saying have to have on the side, non-negotiables. How do I then sort the rest of the side around these players? So this is my side of must-haves then. 68.6. I'm going to ring fence these guys. I don't want to monkey around with them. They are nailed in my side. Along that side, Sterling, he is expensive, but his XGI is great. I've had him since the start of the season. I'm happy to keep hold of him. He's gone down in price. He's gone back to what he was originally. So people coming on board with him now. Looks nailed. I'm assuming and hoping that he still will be with Potter. Fixtures look decent, and he would make up that midfield. But he is expensive. That's the only problem with Sterling. So that takes me up to 78.6. Next, Mitrovic looks like a set and forget. I know he's going to play every week. Decent stats. He's producing the goods. Yeah, I quite like 6.9. He seems like a good choice. I know he's going to play every week as well. Decent price points. Next, I got Isaac. He's in my current side. And yeah, I really like him. I have to keep an eye on him. He's got a flag for Sweden. They don't think it's too much of an issue. But again, we'll just have to keep an eye. Great fixtures. That means I'm tripling up on Newcastle. 7.1. Quite like. On pens. We'll have to see if that changes with Wilson. But Isaac's one that I'd definitely like to bring in. Then I need to start thinking about my defence. Walker for the price of 5 million. I think he's the cheapest playing defender I can get in that City side, and I do want a Man City player in that side. So Walker back to fitness as well, playing for England. He would come in. And then the next one I'd quite like to do is bring in Emerson for 4 million. Problem with Emerson, he's just not been playing recently. He says great fixtures for West Ham. Definitely want to get on board. And suddenly that brings me up to 101.6 million, which is just beyond what I would like. So, that's not something I can afford. Emerson and Isaac, with a flag, Emerson not playing, I can suddenly start to think about taking them out. Gives me a little bit more money to play with. I can suddenly bring Cresswell in. He's been playing, I think he's played all but one game on set pieces in that West Ham side, and I do like their fixtures. So he could come in, but that doesn't give me a lot to play with up front. Can start to bring the likes of Isaac in, and it's 102, so way above. I could take an Isaac or Mitrovic out for Solanke. Good fixtures, cheap price. I'm not that impressed with his overall stats, if I'm honest. And a Bournemouth striker, not convinced. But that would save me quite a lot of money. Suddenly I've got enough money to go into the side. And I've got to bench someone. So that's possibly, do I just then take the hit on Emerson? That's a decision I'm going to have to make. The one thing that would solve everything is if I suddenly start to think about unnailing De Bruyne. Foden has started every single game for Man City, so I could go down from a De Bruyne to a Foden. That releases so much money. He scored an extra goal than De Bruyne. His points-wise, he's not far behind him, but I am saving 4.3. Fixtures obviously the same, so that shouldn't really make any difference. If I bring the likes of Foden in, suddenly I can bring in Isaac, I can bring in Cresswell, I can even upgrade Walker to a Cancelo. Foden solves all my problems. That's the option I've got. That's something I've got to look at and think about before the next game week. Quickly, I wanted to touch on one last thing, and that's Man City. They have this blank in game week 12. Now, I'm definitely not going to be booking in a transfer. I'm going to be rolling that transfer for game week 10. I'm just not doing anything like bringing Zaha in. I want to keep 2 transfers for that game week 12, and I can possibly bring 2 Man City players out. Liverpool's fixtures look good, so I could potentially just jump from one to the other in game week 12. But the other problem you've got is Man City do have great fixtures after that. So do I want to be moving off Man City and staying off Man City? That's something I've got to think about, and I've definitely got to look at a transfer policy and just what my plans are going to be. That's it for this one then, guys. Let me know in the comments below, are you wildcarding? If you are, who are you bringing in? Who are your must-haves? Also, let me know, is there anyone I've missed? Anyone you think that I should be definitely putting into my wildcard side for game week 9? In the meantime, we'll come back at you with team selection videos. We'll do an update. We'll look at a watch list. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, have a great week, guys, and I shall speak to you soon.